Hello everyone and welcome to our live coverage of Starlink 12-9 mission launching from Space Coast, that is from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. Hope you all are doing fine and excited about the upcoming SpaceX launch. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Dipta Maitra. I'll be your host, providing commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
Hi there, everyone. We are super excited bringing you the coverage of SpaceX's 445th overall launch and the 17th Falcon 9 launch of this year. This is also the 432nd Falcon 9's overall launch. Today's launch is the 12th one from the Space Coast, as SpaceX is on its way building their incredible launch cadence for this year. Now currently we are waiting for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 2:18 p.m. Eastern Time, 1918 hours UTC from Florida for a southeasterly launch for SpaceX Starlink mission. The Starlink mission 12-9 will launch 21 Starlink satellites, including 13 with direct-to-cell to low Earth orbit. Now, prior to today's launch, overall 7,864 Starlink satellites have been launched to date, including 453 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites. Just last year alone, a staggering 1,982 Starlink satellites were launched, despite having mishaps and delays due to weather conditions. That's a huge number and an incredible achievement. Hopefully, SpaceX can surpass 2,000 launches for the Starlink this year, provided no mishaps occurs and weather issues come in between. Now, before we dive in, on behalf of AstroYonder team and our awesome moderators, we want to thank all of you joining us for today's launch. We are truly grateful to have you all here. Big thanks to our amazing YouTube community for being here, supporting us as we provide detailed coverage of space launches, complete with extensive statistics and thorough insights. We really appreciate you all being here. We would love to hear from you guys. If you can hop into the chat and let us know where you are tuning in from. Feel free to drop any questions, suggestions, or share your thoughts as we move ahead. Now, just a reminder, it's me only managing the launch coverages on my own. So if we face any technical issues, please bear with me, hang tight. I will do my best to guide you through the upcoming Falcon 9 rocket launch happening in approximately 38 minutes from now. Now, let's get into the mission details. As per launch weather forecast published by the 45th Weather Squadron, today's weather for the launch looks quite promising, with less than 5% probability of launch weather constraint violations, with minor issues of cumulus cloud rule only. Now, if weather anticipated by 45th Weather Squadron, fingers crossed and hope the launch proceeds on time without significant delays, although SpaceX did adjusted their liftoff time one time as of now, but hope they will be sticking to this new launch time which they are targeting. But if for some reason launch doesn't happen today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow, that is on Sunday, February 9th, with launch window opening at 2:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Now let's take a look at the payload details for Starlink 12-9 mission. Meanwhile, would like to welcome Angry Bird, one of our moderator here, joining us. We hope, Angry Bird, you are doing fine and doing well, but what you mentioned here, well, you can't hear me. That I know for what reason, but no worries. At least you will be enjoying the stream, watching it. And once again, we thank all of you joining us. Now, about the payload for today's Starlink launch, it's a typical Starlink satellites built in Redmond, Washington. Today's payload consists of 21 Starlink version 2 mini satellites, including 13 with direct-to-cell satellites. Today's launch marks the 11th dedicated Starlink launch for this year. Each satellite is equipped with 5 advanced Ku-band phased array antennas, 3 dual-band parabolic antennas utilizing Ka and E bands, and a 52.5 square meter dual solar array with a wingspan of 100 feet. The 2 solar arrays are also aeroneutral, which enable faster on-orbit maneuvers. Also, each satellite is equipped with a high-capacity battery to provide power to the payloads. Each satellite features 3 space laser transponders, also known as optical intersatellite links, and as the name suggests, it's for intercommunications and which operates at up to 200 Gbps. Usually, the usage of ISLs, that is the intersatellite links, are now quite prevalent in the satellite development industry. Now, almost in every possible satellite, you will find this feature. Starlink satellite make use of argon fuel Hall effect thrusters for in-orbit maneuvering. Previously, they used to have it with krypton fuel, but due to cost reduction and more efficiency, they switched on to the argon. Now, today's payload will be deployed in an orbit with an altitude of approximately 291 kilometers and with an inclination of 43 degrees. But the functional orbit will be an altitude of approximately 560 kilometers with the same inclination, that is of 43 degrees. Each satellite of version 2 mini satellites specifically weighs approximately 1,763 pounds, that is 800 kilograms. And Starlink satellite uses custom-built star tracker to find their position, altitude, and orientation for optimal broadband throughput. Each one has 4 reaction wheels for precise attitude control. By attitude, I mean the orientation, plus a hot spare setup for reliability. Their aluminum flywheel is designed to safely burn at the end of their useful life. Now, additionally, the Starlink satellites are equipped with an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system for avoiding collisions with other spacecraft and space junks autonomously, which utilizes the US Department of Defense debris tracking database. Now, to understand what the importance of this, I'm just giving you a perspective. According to a SpaceX report, Starlink satellite performs 275 collision avoidance maneuvers each day, and in that course of past 6 months when this report got published, it was just back in last year, Starlink satellites performed 50,000 collision avoidance maneuvers. So that's within 6 months. So I hope you can understand the importance of this autonomous collision avoidance system. Now let's check whether the liftoff time is same. Yes, it's same. The SpaceX is sticking with their current liftoff time of 2:18 p.m. Eastern Time, 1918 hours UTC on Saturday, that is February 8th. Now let's quickly take a look at the flight record for the boosters supporting today's Starlink 12-9 mission. Booster with tail number 1078 will be supporting today's mission. The booster's turnaround time as of today is it will be 40 days. Yesterday it was 39 days, today is 40 days, so it's the booster turnaround time as of today. Today's booster with tail number 1078 has 16 previous flights in its record, including missions like SpaceX Crew 6, O3B Empower B for SES, a major telecommunication operator based in Luxembourg, a classified launch of USSF 124, Bluebird Block 1 mission for AST Space Mobile, and additionally this booster supported 12 Starlink missions. Now awaiting its 17th flight, just minutes away. The last mission supported by today's booster was the Starlink 12-6 mission from Kennedy Space Center on 31st of December last year, marking the 134th launch for SpaceX and the final launch for last year. So the last launch made by this booster for the last year will be having its debut for this year on its 17th flight. Now let's take a look at the bar graph showing the number of Falcon 9 launches each year. Before this upcoming launch, SpaceX completed its 16th Falcon 9 launch for this year with the Maxa 3 mission launch from Kennedy Space Center on 4th of February. As we know, previously SpaceX completed 132 launches of Falcon 9 last year, marking a year with the highest annual launches to date for SpaceX. That is 134 launches in total, including 2 Falcon Heavy launches. Now, with today's launch of Starlink 12-9 mission, the bar graph depicts 17 Falcon 9 launches for 2025 as SpaceX gears for another year full of record breakers. And Elon's previous tweets suggest we might see around 180 Falcon 9 launches this year. So hopefully we will be able to see more launches from SpaceX this year. Now, if this stream fuels your love for space, give us this stream a like. It's like fine-tuning the trajectory of our space mission here. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you won't miss a single launch update. Together, we will build the ultimate constellation of space enthusiasts like you. Would like to welcome Marcos Antonio for joining us. Thank you, Marcos, for joining us. And I hope you are doing well and will be enjoying the stream. Now, please allow us a couple of seconds to check whether the launch is on time or not to stay updated. Oh, well, yes, it's on time. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the trajectory for today's mission. Falcon 9 leaving the pad from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station with a batch of 21 Starlink satellites on board for a southeast trajectory heading into low Earth orbit, that is to the 12th shell of second generation Starlink mega constellation indicated by that green line on your screen. The red line indicates where the Falcon 9 first stage will land after stage separation, just a little later leaving Florida Space Coast. This is going to be a drone ship landing using autonomous spaceport drone ship, and for today it's A Shortfall of Gravitas drone ship, one of the two here on the east coast, meaning that the first stage booster with tail number 1078 flying for its 17th time will be returning heading out to the drone ship for its landing, and this will be the 97th landing on A Shortfall of Gravitas drone ship to date. Planned booster recovery is 600 kilometers with estimated fairing recovery approximately 600 kilometers downrange, and the stage 2 debris re-entry will be in the Indian Ocean on the second orbit. Would like to welcome Claudia. Thanks Claudia, we were missing you. Actually, I was thinking about you, that where you disappeared. No, I didn't got deported because I'm not there in US. Well, again, your humor is showing up, but thanks. Thanks for tuning in, and we are really grateful that you are with us today. Again, Poptripika, thanks. Welcome joining us. One of our moderator here, Poptripika. It's been a while, Poptripika. We didn't got to talk. In between, we couldn't stream for some issues. So we did had a gap in between, but today we are again back together. Now, I just want to update you guys. Hopefully, you guys would have got this update that now with the Starlink Group 10-12 mission, which is now targeting, as of now, not earlier than February 17th at 23 hours UTC, the SpaceX will be landing the booster off the coast of Bahamas, and this trajectory known as Exuma, I hope I can pronounce it right, which will allow SpaceX to fly southeast for 53 degrees for Starlink missions rather than northeast. So hopefully we will see a new trajectory in that Starlink Group 10-12 mission. Here are some of the stats for the SpaceX drone ship fleet. Well, Claudia, why you don't have button to sign up, I'm not understanding. Although my sense of humor is a little bad, not such intelligent like you. So if you can say it in a normal way, hopefully I can understand what you mean by that. And as we know, currently there are 3 in SpaceX drone ship fleet. And of the 3 drone ships, just read the instructions, and A Shortfall of Gravitas are stationed here in Florida, while of course I Still Love You is stationed in California. We do expect an addition of a 4th drone ship, but the schedule is uncertain. Well, Poptripika, I would like to be excused by you because right now just it came to my mind that I said you to send me that um, details of that plane which made its record breaking of the speed barrier. So I didn't got to check it on the Discord, so it completely got out of my mind. I will check it after the stream gets end. So please pardon me for that. Well, I know Poptripika, A Shortfall of Gravitas is your favorite one because you, and actually from you, I got to know that I didn't notice actually previously, but from you, I got to be notified that they are having that audio feed from only on the A Shortfall of Gravitas. So it's you who told me about that. Now, speaking of the fairing recovery, SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve them from Atlantic waters. The two halves of the payload fairing will be recovered slightly farther, approximately 700 kilometers downrange, from where the first stage lands on the Shortfall of Gravitas drone ship. After the fairing halves will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. We know that SpaceX manufactures the fairing in-house, with the total cost of two halves is nearly $6 million. So no wonder that SpaceX aims to recover the fairings for repetitive use, following their same approach with rocket boosters, upholding the motto of reusability and sustainability. On your screen, you can see how a fairing recovery looks like. The recovery vessel on your screen is Doug, performing the recovery operations and also being today's supporting recovery vessel. Other recovery vessels, Bob and Go Cosmos, here at the East Coast, are awaiting their next assignment. And I was following the Go Cosmos movement for some days, and it seems like it will be coming into its job sooner, because finally, after staying so long being moored, now it's having some movement on the ocean. So hopefully we will be able to see Go Cosmos in work sooner. Now let me just quickly check whether the liftoff time is same or not. Yes, it seems the same. So we are currently 10 minutes away from the webcast to begin. So we will be diving into the stats now. Now we have a request again for you folks. Giving this stream a like is your way boosting us past max Q. It helps us to connect with more space enthusiasts like you. And subscribe and tap the bell icon, and you will never miss an update like a perfectly timed launch window. Well, this what they say, call to action lines I just made in a space way to say, to sound it a little more fancy. Now let's just dive into the stats for today's mission. Today's launch marks the 445th SpaceX overall launch and the 11th dedicated Starlink launch of this year. This is going to be the 432nd Falcon 9 launch to date. 17th flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission, with tail number 1078 being in action after 40 days. Today's mission marks the 17th Falcon 9 launch and the SpaceX's 18th overall launch of 2025. This will be the 377th Falcon booster reflight to date. That is the launch of a booster that has flown at least once before. 231st orbital launch for SpaceX, launching from Space Launch Complex 40. And the 286th overall orbital launch from this pad. With the success of this mission, SpaceX will have a remarkable 7,885 Starlink satellites. Well, is it that? Yes, including 466 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites launched to date. Well, Angry Bird, you have your companion there. Pop Poptopika is there on chat. And once again, guys, we would like to encourage you all to hop into the chat and to let us know from where you all are tuning in. Would really appreciate hearing from you guys. Now moving on to some reusability statistics. This launch marks 361st Falcon 9 booster reflight to date. This will be the 97th landing on A Shortfall of Gravitas drone ship, 17th landing of the first stage booster with tail number 1078. With this mission's first stage landing, SpaceX will be having their 324th overall drone ship landing, marking 387th Falcon 9 landing to date and 406th SpaceX overall landing to date. And actually, here is a little discrepancy about the SpaceX overall landing. Actually, the count says it's 406, but I got to know that during the Maxa 3 mission, they said during the broadcast that that one was the 404th landing. Although, if we will be counting from Starlink Group 11-8 mission, which marked the 400th landing, it's today the 406th SpaceX landing going to be happening in some minutes. But I don't know why they said it in the broadcast of the Maxa 3 that it's 404th. So I'm just sticking with the normal count, which it should be. Now, drone ship landing stats on your screen, but please mind it, these stats for the drone ship landings are prior to today's mission, so don't get confused. Meanwhile, let me have a look at the chat. Well, Poptopic, I didn't understand that what you meant by LUL. I'm a little bit oldie, so I'm not so much into these short forms. Can you say me what it is? Now let's take some look at the key stats for SpaceX launches this year, including today's mission. We are just 6 minutes away from the webcast, I guess. Well, let me check it once again, because there is possibility that they will delay. Today we have a Rocket Lab launch coming up for Kineas, so mostly SpaceX do so that they coincide their launches with Rocket Labs. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, I'm speculating, but it seems like they have some showdown going on. Well, Claudia, what do you mean by this? In 3 days I read like Starlink's above Europe. You mean by that? Like I I didn't got you what you meant, Claudia. And Starlinks are above Europe. Don't worry. Oh well. I'm not into Twitch, Pop Topeka, so I didn't got to know. And you said about that you checked it about 5,000 and 6,000 means about the launch of the Starlink satellites. But this time it's like overall it's what I said 7,885 it will be now with this launch. So where we were, I got a little distracted with this chat. So let's just quickly wrap up with this stats. We have just 5 minutes away from the webcast to begin. Now with today's mission, SpaceX will be having its 18th launch of this year, and out of those, 11 are Starlink missions, including today's one, and 6 were non-Starlink mission for commercial and government organization. The last non-Starlink mission for a commercial organization, we know it was the Maxa 3 mission, launching the third pair of Worldview Legion satellites. And why it is 18, you can ask that. We have added the one Starlink, Starship flight in this with the Starship Flight 7. Now 17 reused booster with this mission. And if we look into the geographical distribution, they will be having 12 launches from East Coast with previous 5 from Launch Complex 39A, that is Kennedy Space Center, and 7 launches with today's mission, that is from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. On the West Coast, they have 5 launches from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base. As of now, only 1 launch from Gulf Coast at Starbase in Texas with the 7th integrated flight test and 1 Super Heavy booster catch. A lot is going on there at the Starbase with the upcoming booster 15th static fire for the flight test 8. So hopefully we will be having some news for coming up in some hours that for the static fire of the booster 15. Now for landings, they will be nailing it for the 16th time this year with 14 drone ship landings. 4 on Of Course I Still Love You, and on Just Read the Instructions, and 6 on A Shortfall of Gravitas, including one from today. So as of now, A Shortfall of Gravitas is leading among the drone ship fleet, and for ground landings, they are having 1 on landing zone 1 and landing zone 4 respectively. Again, this page of stats are prior to today's launch, and what we have is today is the 81st launch since last Starlink mission failure, that is Starlink 9-3 mission. So prior to this, 80 successful launches for SpaceX, 64 successful landings since last landing failure with Starlink 8-6 mission, 298 missions with at least 1 reused fairing, and approximately 564 numbers of fairing halves reuses have been reused. Now let's quickly move on to this pie chart. With this 27th orbital launch of the year, United States is leading with 18 launches, followed by China with 6 launches and 1 launch each by Russia, Japan, and India, marking their debut for orbital launches this year. Recently, we had a Soyuz 2.1B launch. It was a military payload. Now here on your screen is a pie chart showing the 2025 orbital launches by rocket variations, including today's one. Falcon 9 will be having its 17th launch today. Previously, one New Glenn and Soyuz 2.1V launch. China's Long March 3BE variant having 2 launches. Additionally, launch Long March 2D, 6A, G-Long, and Series 1 rockets each having 1 launch so far. The others slice of the pie comprises ISRO's 1 GSLV Mark II rocket and Japan's H322S rocket launches. Now, I hope it's time for the webcast to begin. Let's just check. Well, yes, the webcast has begun, so let's quickly move ahead to the webcast page. Let me just set up the webcast. Well, it's on your screen now. I'm just not having the audio to be patched in right now because there's playing some music. As soon as the feed will be available, I will be patching in the audio. Adding value to your viewing experience here at AstroYonder is our top priority. If you felt we somewhat achieved that, please consider liking this video. It really helps your algorithm to bring in more space fans and help others to find out this stream. We would be super grateful for your support. Now, meanwhile, let me check the chat over here. Well, Claudia, this is the 11th Starlink launch for this year with the Starlink 12-9. And Claudia, we really appreciate that you finally thought to join us on live. Really glad to have you here with us. Once again, we thanks all of you joining us here and would like to encourage you all to join us on chat to know more from you, that where are you joining from, and if you have any questions, suggestions, please don't hesitate. You are more than welcome to drop in on the chat. Would love to hear from you guys. I don't know why they are delaying with the webcast to begin. Still some music's going on there.
Falcon 9 tanks are pressurizing for strong back lower.
And we have the feed now. I hope you guys can have the audio to be heard loud and enough good. We did got the call out that tanks are now pressurizing for the strong back retract. Here we add some bit of gas to stiffen up the tank so that the clamp arms can open with a solid structure. Holding the Falcon 9, and upon opening the arms, we start reclining the strong back about 1.5 degrees away from the Falcon 9 as it's a Cape Canaveral launch. And we did got the call out that strong back retract had started, and we are getting some close-up views. Hopefully we will be able to see that the strong back is starting to recline. As we are watching this live view of Falcon 9, a couple of important steps were completed. The spacecraft team switched to internal power a few minutes ago, and fueling of the Falcon 9 first stage is finished. meaning that all RP1 prop is now on board. We are still loading the liquid oxygen on both the first and second stages, and we'll be hearing the call out for the completion of that in some minutes from now. Well, Claudia, it's 12-9. Actually, the count doesn't matches with the number of launches, Claudia. It's the 11th launch of the Starlink, and the launch of Starlink Group 12-9 means it's launching the Group 12 Starlink satellites. So please don't get confused. And we did got the call out. Stage 1 LOX load is complete. We are now waiting for the second stage that will finish up at just inside T-2 minutes mark. Well, yes, Bob Topeka, it's a clear and nice day, and hopefully we will be getting some good views. Maybe, Bob Topeka, that can be a case. An accident happens.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
Hopefully they are not using the OBS. And anyways, we did got the call out for stage 2 LOX load completion. So right now, all propellants now on board the Falcon 9 with 1 million pounds of propellant. We are now beginning to vent down the pressure that was in the tubing on the strong back. That's why we can see those clouds coming out there, which is an indicator of launch coming up. We did got the call out for ground gas closeout. Here we bleed the pressure off. That cold gas, when it reacts with the moist humid air, gives this white cloud. Now, next event T-1 minute, we should hear the call out that Falcon 9 flight computers are in startup and controlling the rocket for the remainder of the countdown.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Right on time, Falcon 9 flight computers on stage 1 and stage 2 are running the rocket through the last minute of count. Now let's listen to the go call out from the launch director.
The launch director on countdown 1, go for launch.
There we go, SpaceX launch director giving go for launch. Now we are coming up on T-minus 33 seconds. All system continues to remain go for launch of Falcon 9 and Starlink. So let's hear the call out and witness this spectacular launch of Falcon 9 for Starlink Group 12-9 mission.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Awesome views.
Eagles pitching downrange. Engine chamber pressures are nominal.
T plus 20 seconds into the flight, we did got some good call outs. Falcon 9 on its way with 21 Starlinks into low Earth orbit. Hopefully we will be getting some good views from both the first and second stages, as today it's a daytime launch. Now expecting a call out for power and telemetry. And there we go, good call outs there. Falcon 9 is right now supersonic. That means we have exceeded Mach 1 on Falcon 9. So Falcon 9 is faster than the speed of sound as we have gone supersonic.
Max Q.
Max Q call out there. We are through the period of maximum stress on the vehicle. We have throttled the 9 Merlin engines back up to full power as of now. Coming up is the MVAC engine chill call out.
MVAC is chilling.
There we go. We got the call out for MVAC engine chill prior to its ignition just after stage separation. Now coming up, three events in rapid succession: the shutdown of main engine on the first stage, that is main engine cutoff, MECO, followed by stage separation and ignition of the second stage MVAC engine for the first time, that is SES-1, which will boost the payload into the low Earth orbit. So let's hear to the call out and watch these spectacular views we are getting from the first stage. Well, Poptripica, really, it's looking such nice. And hopefully, Poptripica, are you noticing any difference in today's stream? Because I'm streaming in 60p today.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition.
We just got the call out for all back-to-back milestones. Now the stage nitrogen thrusters is now beginning to reorient the first stage, and the flight computers has commanded the hypersonic titanium grid fins to slowly begin deploying now that the stage separation is successful. Next up is the fairing separation. So we are waiting for that call out and getting some amazing mind-blowing views.
Fairing separation confirmed.
We got the call out, fairing has successfully separated. And hopefully you guys could see that fairing half falling behind from the second stage view as well as from the first stage view. It's visible. So we are looking right now a view of the first stage, which continues under the force of gravity and steering with the help of grid fins. It will continue to rise towards the apogee before descending back towards the landing site, that is for the drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas, stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. Second stage, meanwhile, in the middle of its 6-minute burn, is on its way into the parking orbit with 21 Starlink satellites payload on board. Now, after guys enjoy the first stage view, because just after the entry burn, the first stage view will be getting messy. So enjoy the view now when the camera is clean. Meanwhile, you are and like you can enjoy the second stage view as well, which is like as always giving us
Vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
spectacular views and good callouts there. Both the vehicles are on a nominal trajectory for both the first and second stages. Now we will be getting a call out for stage 1 FTS being saved coming up. Until now, the launch has been excellent and smooth, providing us such spectacular views. The second stage is operating right now at maximum capacity. The first stage has completed its task and it's on its way back. What happened to the stream? Let me just check it. Just a second, guys. I don't know why it's stuck there.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Well, sorry for that interruption, guys. We are now having the entry burn, which should last around 29 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
And there's a confirmation entry burn shutdown for the first stage. And during the entry burn, we just lit the 3 of the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. Now coming up, we will be having that landing burn where we will be igniting the center E9 engine. We should be getting a call out for stage 1 being transonic. Once again, I would like to apologize for that minor glitch we had in between.
Stage 1 transonic.
And we just heard that the stage 1 is now traveling slower than the speed of sound as it heads towards the landing. Speaking of landing, we are just less than 60 minutes away from that. Stage 2 FTS has been saved, means the orbital insertion burn for the second stage has been accomplished. Now we are waiting for stage 1 landing burn call out.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There we go. Great views of that landing burn with the center E9 engine now lit. We are slowing down the vehicle further more rapidly. Should be seeing those landing legs deploy any seconds now.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Landing legs deployed.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there you have it. We have successfully made the 387th landing of an orbital class Falcon 9 rocket. Although we didn't got any audio feed of the landing from the ASOG, like A Shortfall of Gravitas. Now coming up next, we'll have the second stage engine cutoff, that is SECO 1, and following that event, the second stage, and there we go. We did had the call out for SECO 1, and following this event, the second stage will enter into 45 minutes of course phase as the vehicle ascends to its target orbit. So these were the call outs we were waiting for. Second stage engine cutoff. We didn't got any confirmation for the nominal orbit, but of course it has been accomplished. Now today's launch marks SpaceX's 445th successful mission, with the landing marking their 406th success. Now with that we will wrap up our coverage, but before that we would like to thanks Claudia for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the stream, Claudia, and nice meeting you, Pop Tripika, after a while. And I hope that you also enjoyed the stream, and I did ask you that whether you found any noticeable difference in the stream today, because I'm streaming it in 60p. Previously I was streaming it in 30p. Hopefully it looks a little more smoother right now. Well, today, yes, today it didn't got the camera view for the first, it didn't got messy, but most of the time it's making them. And yes, now for the next one, today it happened the 17th flight for this booster. Next it will be having the 18th one, and now keep an eye on for the static fire of the booster 18 for Starship, that is right now trending. So that's it, guys. We will be wrapping up our coverage for now. Be sure to check out our social media handle on X for the latest happenings in space industry and updates on upcoming launches, and the link is provided on the chat section. Finally, and most importantly, want to thank you all for wherever you are watching our live stream coverages. Can't do this broadcast without you, and so we thank you all for your continued support for what we do here at AstroYonder. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. We appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Wishing you a nice week ahead. Thanks for watching. This is AstroYonder Live and me Dipta signing off for now, and we will see you next time.